Hello, Aries. Here is your reading for April. These are general. Take what works, and what doesn't work just doesn't work. But if you stumble upon this reading at a later date, there may be something in it for you. But let's see what the cards have to say. First, we have the Ace of Pentacles. You have the Knight of Cups. You have the Hierophant. Your challenge for the month is the Hierophant in reverse. And what is recommended for you is the Eight of Swords. So, starting off with the Ace of Pentacles, this represents whatever this reading has to do with you. It has to do with something that's more some kind of practical aspect of your life. This could be some type of financial opportunity that you're trying to pursue, or some type of situation that's going to give you some type of monetary gain or kind of tangible assets in a sense. So some of you could be pursuing something that you're hoping is going to make you more money. And I think that with the Knight of Cups, this represents whatever this is, it kind of excites you. You're in the process of moving forward towards it, and you will be moving forward towards it during the month. But it's something that kind of has you in the feels a little bit. It could represent, bringing a creative project or idea into life. This could be a hobby that you've always wanted to do or you're really passionate about, and now you're pursuing it a little further, and you might be actually now working on the practical aspects of this. It could represent anything for you. For some of you, this could even be love. Maybe you kind of met somebody that you think that you could potentially have a long-term relationship with. So, and you're now kind of pursuing that further. But I think for a lot of you, this is really something that either, I don't want to say a career change, or something that's going to really benefit you in the long run. Because with the Hierophant, this represents almost like, I don't want to say like public recognition. Oftentimes I get this card where when I have to be a little bit more out there. I'm a weird type of person. I think I'm very introverted, but I can be extroverted when I need to be. Like if I'm out at a party or like hanging out with friends, I could be very like extroverted. And I don't want to say I could be putting on a show, but if I need to have fun or if I need to be engaging with other people, I can do that very easily. But really for me, I'm a very introverted person. I like staying at home. I don't really want to. During the pandemic, when they said, "Oh, everybody has to stay at home," that was amazing. I was like, "You don't have to tell me twice. I don't need to leave. I'm good here." So for me, I'm a very, I don't want to say private person, but I like to be to myself a lot. But I've been getting the Hierophant myself frequently now, and I think for me, it's because of this. Let's say this YouTube channel or other kind of things I want to do with YouTube in the future. It's telling me that I have to get out of my comfort zone. So the Hierophant can also be about your spiritual journey. Like you might be leveling up spiritually. But I also do see him that you may be with whatever this is, like if this is like a hobby or this is some kind of a financial thing, like job, new career, or different career path, that you're having to level up not only spiritually, but you might be more in the public eye. Because to me, the Hierophant, he's a very public figure. He's helping to guide other people for their spiritual journey. But in a sense, this also could represent like traditions. So something, whatever you might be doing, it could be based a little bit more in like a traditional societal sense. But I think you might actually be now pursuing a larger goal that I think is going to really potentially bring you, or you're hoping it brings you financial gain in the future, and your heart is connected with it, but it's going to cause you to have to get out of your comfort zone, maybe spiritually evolve, and maybe even kind of evolve more into the public, where you're more like a public figure or a little bit beyond your natural scope of, let's say, work, friends. And however, now you have to kind of step into a different role where people might be looking to you for guidance, and you need to kind of proceed forward and, give that guidance or your expertise, but you might be getting out of your comfort zone. So I often get this when I have to get out of my comfort zone. But what's the challenge is the Hierophant in reverse. Now, to me, this is saying that your challenge might be it might be a little uncomfortable for you to move into this new role. You might be, because it's outside your comfort zone, oftentimes, like I know with me, that makes me really nervous. I'm very comfortable in a certain scope with my life, but as soon as I got to step outside that scope, I'm like, oh my God, I kind of freak out a little bit. So it makes me nervous. It gives me anxiety. But I think this is for you to really push this dream or idea or whatever this represents, even love. You need to kind of step out of the comfort zone. Try things that you haven't done. And this could also be about going against conformity in a sense, because the Hierophant, he represents, let's say, societal structures also, and things the way that he also represents things being done as they always have been done. But within that, society for me is always changing. It's constantly evolving. So I can't really say traditional in a sense, because I don't always see the Hierophant even having a traditional basis, because the only thing traditional is traditions are changing constantly. If you think back 20 years, 50 years, and 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, society is not the same. It's constantly evolving. So I don't always see him as being like traditional in like a long time ago type of sense. Maybe it's more traditional as far as what's normal for this moment. But with the Hierophant in reverse here as your challenge, you might also be needing to step out a little bit into the non-traditional, the current society's, what's traditional for current society right now. You might need to be pushing a little bit of those boundaries and try something different, because that's what people do. We're always pushing and we're always evolving, and through that creates change and it creates ripple effects. So there might be something. And this could even be what's traditional for you. This could be representing that maybe you're in a certain comfort zone and now your challenge is to push beyond what you find comfortable and traditional for yourself. So that's definitely something that you're going to have to deal with, because I think if you want to move whatever this is forward, you're going to have to do it. So you're going to have to kind of push beyond those comfort zones, beyond those boundaries, and you're going to have to maybe be a little bit public, more so public than maybe what you're used to and what you're comfortable with. But what's recommended is the 8 of Swords. So this is about self-imposed restrictions. Now, I don't always see this as a bad thing. I think it depends on what is the restriction. So these are kind of, the swords represent your thoughts, and it's about you're restricting yourself in some way. But I don't always see that as a bad thing. Like if you're a student and you're in school and you're end of semester, you have all these tests and all this stuff coming up, you got these papers you got to write, and your friends want to go out and party all the time, and you have a choice here. You could either stay home, be miserable, but write these papers and get it done and finish up this class, or you could go party with your friends. So it's kind of like you're choosing. So if you're choosing to write the papers and get your work done, you're putting the restrictions on yourself. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, because there's times that we have to restrict ourselves. We have to maybe not be as all over the place as we would want to be, not really engaging in certain behaviors or activities that may be sidetracking us from our main task at this moment. So I see this as you might have a lot of options, and depending where you live, like April is kind of more springtime. It's more fun. I know a lot of people really want to like do more things because, we've been locked up all winter. It's been cold. It's been miserable. And all of a sudden spring is here. It's beautiful. There's plants everywhere. You want to go out. You want to have fun. But this is saying that you might have to focus. You might have to put these restrictions on yourself to focus on this goal, this idea, this dream, whatever this represents for you. You may need to kind of continue to buckle down and get this done. So some of you might be ending or coming to the end of your schooling if you're a student. So this could be like you just got to get that work done. And others of you might be in the birthing process or in whatever process of this with, let's say if it's like a hobby or work or something, but you need to stay focused. Like you don't want to let it go to the wayside is what I'm getting. But let's see what other cards we get for you. So first up, you have lion spirit. Be generous of spirit. And I think this is saying that you just have to kind of have faith, appreciate the things that you do have. Because I feel like with whatever this is, I feel like you might have been working on this for a long time or pursuing this goal for a long time. And I feel like you're almost kind of like at this breakthrough with it, but it's going to really take you going to a new level to continue with it or to start gaining some of the results that you're seeking. I think you're going to have to almost like, I don't want to say become a different person, but you're going to have to kind of go outside yourself and you're going to have to kind of, I don't want to say level up in some kind of way, but you're moving past a comfort zone. And I think sometimes when we do that, it's very challenging depending on the person. Some people are a little bit more easier to do that than others, but I think in that sometimes you just have to have faith and you have to just really truly believe that spirit has your back, that you are on the right path and that you can do this. So I think this is, you have to be generous and thankful for the things that you do have, the things that are going right, because sometimes in this process we hit obstacles. We always hit obstacles. Let's call it for what it is. Obstacles are everywhere. But it's a learning experience. And I think in a sense that even if you hit a roadblock or an obstacle, be thankful for that lesson and just take what you can from it, because now next time you hit up against that obstacle or that roadblock, it's going to be easier to overcome it. It's going to be easier to push past it. So I think you just need to have like this generous feeling that you're doing the right thing, you're on the right path. You need to trust yourself and you need to trust that your guides are guiding you through this situation. And when you feel a little uncomfortable, you feel like you have to go outside your comfort zone, you might need to be a little bit more public, or you need to do something a little bit more outwardly. And if it makes you a little uncomfortable, you just have to just still have faith that you are capable and you're being supported right now to do that. So that's wonderful. Jade, be the bigger person. Now, for some of you, I really feel that sometimes the Hierophant, to me, he gets a little bit more of criticism because he is a public figure. So any decision he makes, he's going to have people scrutinizing him. He's going to have people judging him. But he's staying true to himself because he feels like he has some knowledge, although he does have people asking him for help. But anytime you're in this kind of energy, you're going to get criticized. So I think if somebody's criticizing you, if they're judging you, if they're not on board, if they don't see your vision, if they don't see your dream that you're pursuing, you just need to be the bigger person and almost like let it go. Don't listen to these people. Just stay true to yourself, stay true to your gut, and don't worry about what the naysayers have to say. Because let me tell you something. They're naysaying you, then they're naysaying somebody else. Naysayers always are naysayers. So you just have to kind of be the bigger person, maybe realize the situation from it is. Don't let it deter you or make you feel like you're not capable of doing what you want, and just keep on pushing. Talking, interested, conversing more, awaited messages arrives, text, call, email, hovering. And I think for some of you, I wonder if some of you are going to really get some messages, or there's going to be some type of communication. And some of this communication could be something that you've been waiting on for a long time. And then this could actually kind of spur you forward, or this could mean that you need to be, I don't want to say talking more, but like the Hierophant, he's a public figure. He's going to be talking a lot. He's talking to a lot of different people. So this might mean that you need to be a little bit more out there. You need to be a little bit more vocal about what you're trying to do or your dream, or just be proud of what you're doing. Some of you might have, whatever this represents, this kind of dream, some of you may not have been so vocal about it in the past, but with the Hierophant, because he's a little bit more out in the open, it might be time for you to start letting people know. So that's what I'm kind of getting for this as well. Now, stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. Now, this could be for love, but this could also be that you need to stay optimistic about whatever this represents for you. And I think sometimes when we go into these dark phases, let's say with this kind of anxiety or getting out of your comfort zone, it's tricky. We don't know how we're going to be taken. We don't know how the situation's going to unfold. It makes you uncomfortable. But I think if you stay positive about it and you stay in the moment, sometimes you can overcome these fears. Like, because I know with me, I'll put fears on stuff that's not even happening. Like, I'll get anxious and anxiety over things that are not even in reality. They're not even transpiring at all. But I'll be like, oh my God, what if, what if, what if? And those what ifs never come, you know, but I do it to myself. So then it almost keeps me like stuck. So I think some of you may need to just stay positive and just have faith that you're on the right path and this is going to work out for your benefit. And what screws us up most in life is the picture in our heads of how it's supposed to be. And I think this is very, very, very important, because I feel like with this Knight of Cups, he's very dreamy. He has something he wants to do. His heart's in it. And sometimes, you know, our hearts could be in something, but I don't want to say the logic is not always there. Like, you have to have your heart and have that passion and that love energy for any kind of endeavor, because if you don't have it, you're never going to succeed, because you're not in it. But I think sometimes we could have these dreams or these ideas and we don't really see all the nitty gritty, because it's not, you know, seeing all the tiny details that really suck is not really the fun part of it. So I think this is saying, if you do hit up against obstacles or roadblocks or things are not quite as they seem, don't just stay stuck on that. You need to be a little bit more flexible with it, and you just need to kind of go with the flow to an extent. And if it doesn't transpire exactly how you had envisioned it, it doesn't mean it won't be great in the end. It just means that you just have to kind of merge with it. You got to blend. You got to roll with the punches. And then you have two little affirmation cards, so I'll read them both to you. Today I live in the present. Today I will start with a smile. I am in control of my attitude. And that's really fantastic. And that's just saying that, you know, if you're having some of these doubts and these fears, you know, getting outside of your comfort zone, you just need to be like, okay, I'm going to just take this moment. I'm not going to stress. I know this is so hard because I stress all the time, but I'm trying. I'm not a perfect person, but I'm trying to, you know, acknowledge my faults and my shortcomings, and I'm trying to work with it. But it's not easy. It's probably going to be a lifelong practice. But anyway, so if you just stay in the moment and you just like, okay, I'm uncomfortable right now, but it doesn't mean that this isn't going to be for my benefit. I can get through it. I'm just going to focus on like right this second. And then you have today I will breathe. Today, as I face challenges, I will call a mental timeout. I will consciously breathe with my eyes closed and focus on slowing my inhalation and exhalation. And to me, both of these, to me, really, it feels like, you know, you are stepping outside your comfort zone. It feels like you are doing something a little bit that makes you a little anxious, potentially, with whatever this is. So I think this is kind of bringing you back into that present moment and just helping you just be like, take it minute by minute, day by day, and just kind of get through it. Because I know with me, sometimes like I'll start thinking of like, okay, I have to do this. This is way out of my comfort zone. I know I want to reach this end goal, but it stresses me out. But if I only do those little steps, sometimes those little steps are easier to manage than looking at the big mountain, trying to climb the big mountain right that second. So I just think little steps this month, Aries, little steps, take it moment by moment, but still follow what you're doing. And then for your little Bob Ross quote, you have, don't you know, wait, let me reread this. I'm screwing it up. Didn't you know you had this much power? You can move mountains. You can do anything. And I think this is saying that like, you got this, like whatever this represents, whatever aspect in your life that you're kind of going towards, whatever opportunity you're trying to get rolling, you can do this. Like, you can do this. You just need to do it minute by minute, get out of that comfort zone. And I just feel like a lot of you know what you need to do. And sometimes even this Eight of Swords, to me, what I'm kind of getting is you might have to like restrict yourself from anybody that's telling you something else as well. Because like I said before, the naysayers, you might have to just almost like put the blinder on your eyes and ears and not listen to it. So you might have to mentally like restrict any criticism that's not coming from a good place. Sometimes people can criticize you and they're actually criticizing you and it's really coming from a good place and they have good points. And other times people just criticize because that's what they do. So if you'll know for yourself if it's valid criticism that's beneficial or if it's just, you know, people just being funny. And let's see what spirit of the dish you will have for this month. You have the spirit of the Knight of Sweets, which is the spirit of the cookie. So, for your dinner and a movie, you have barbecue food and horror films. And we have Cancer here. And Cancer is about emotions and habits. And you also have Virgo, which is about kind of like organization. It's about communication and thought processes. So some of you might need to watch any negative emotions or habits going on this month, or just tap into your emotions a little bit more. And then I think the organization with Virgo is always really, really great. So some of you might, if you feel like you're losing control a little bit, if you get things organized, even if you clean your house or whatever, sometimes, like I know with me, it makes me feel more organized and more like I have everything together, have my shit together a little bit more. So even silly things like that could kind of help boost your confidence. You have the Sun, which is about ego, individuality, and confidence. And then you have the North Node here, which represents your destiny. So I feel like some of you, whatever this Hierophant represents for you, I think it is your destiny. It is your destiny to be a little bit more out there, a little bit more public, a little bit more, I don't want to say like an expert on whatever field this is or whatever this represents, because this could be a hobby. You could be like an avid plant lover or something, and now people are going to come to you for advice on, how to grow whatever plants. So it could represent anything for you. You also have the 7th house, which represents partnerships, marriage, friendships, and legal proceedings. And you have the 8th house, which is about change, transformation, debts, and secrets. And you have the number 5, which is an odd number. So that means your special guest today, that'll be answering your questions, will be the Magic 8 Ball. Think of those questions, Aries. He shall be out here shortly. We have CRVWA863. And you have wealth, and I think that whatever this is, because you have the Ace of Pentacles, and the Pentacles are kind of about monetary gain, opportunities, I think whatever this is, it could potentially give you some type of wealth, even if it's wealth of knowledge or just some type of abundance in a certain kind of way, which is fantastic. And let's see what little charmy we get for you. Oh, this one came out right away. You have the Moon and the Star. So for me, this is saying shoot for the stars, and if you land on the moon, that's really, really good. So shoot for a very large goal and see how far you can get. Because I think if you proceed in a very, very big way, you're going to get somewhere really good. Even if you don't attain the full thing, you're going to wind up somewhere where you're going to be happy anyway. So I think that's really fantastic. And sometimes with the moon, you don't see everything. Sometimes you have to walk on a hidden path and you're not sure how you're going to go, but you just have to keep on one foot in front of the other type of thing. Okay, now it is time. Let's see. Here he is. Think of those questions, Aries, and now is the time we're going to ask. Oh, mystical, magical 8 Ball, the mightiest ball of all the balls, what is the answer to Aries' question? It says, yes, definitely. There you go. The 8 Ball has spoken. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.